Welcome into Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. We have a juicy show coming your way with NBA-related, Sixers-related rumors, all centering around Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Ben Simmons. We start off with the dysfunction going on within the Portland Trail Blazers organization. A lot going on there, and could that lead to either Damian Lillard and or CJ McCollum getting traded and potentially to the Philadelphia 76ers? So let's get you caught up with what's going on with the Trail Blazers. A couple days ago, they fired general manager Neil Olshey after an investigation looked into alleged workplace misconduct. And right now, under head coach Chauncey Billups, the Blazers are off to a slow start this year. Really bad defensively, one of the worst units in the NBA on that end of the floor. They're 11-13. Some of the players not really jiving well with Chauncey Billups, and the frustrations are starting to mount on top of the dysfunction going on within that front office. So a lot of people close to the Trail Blazers and in league circles believe that Portland could potentially decide to blow it up, trading either way Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum, maybe keeping one of those guys to build around them to try to right the ship and get back into the Western Conference playoff picture. As for Damian Lillard, he has been out for a little while, bothered by an abdominal injury that goes all the way back to the Olympics. It hampered him then, that has continued on into this year, and I think that's a big reason why Dame's numbers are really the lowest that they've been in terms of volume and production throughout his NBA career. And he's having one of the more frustrating and weird seasons to start this year because his numbers mysteriously down a lot from last year when he was an MVP candidate. So bothered by that injury, the numbers are some of the worst of his career, and he is kind of unhappy with the situation in Portland on top of his unhappiness that he had voiced this offseason about the Blazers not really going all in to surround him with a championship-level team. And according to Charania and Sam Amick, he had wanted either Mike D'Antoni or Jason Kidd to be the next coach, taking over for Terry Stotts, the only coach that he knew since getting drafted out of Weber State nearly a decade ago. Instead, Neil Olshey, who was fired by the Blazers, hired Chauncey Billups. So you can see why Dame might be frustrated on top of what he had voiced this offseason. Now, Sam Amick, as well as Shams Charania, put out a really fascinating report about everything going on with that Blazers organization. We do want to pass along some of the most notable tidbits because they do directly relate to the Philadelphia 76ers. So, Lillard intends to give the Trailblazers organization time to find its next leader of basketball operations. But beyond the front office component, the face of the franchise still wants significant changes to the roster. Multiple sources have told The Athletic that Lillard would like to play with Philadelphia 76ers three-time All-Star Ben Simmons. The Trailblazers' league-worst defense would instantly improve, and sharing a backcourt with a non-shooter could work given Lillard's high-volume usage. A couple of takeaways there. The Blazers are terrible defensively. You watch this team, and they get consistently gashed on that end of the floor. Ben Simmons, on the other hand, in my opinion, should have won Defensive Player of the Year last year and is one of, if not the best defenders in the NBA. So he would be a good fit alongside Damian Lillard. Also, we have a long sample size that clearly shows that Dame, CJ, they don't work as a backcourt. One, because they're really bad defensively. Two, because they both need the basketball in their hands for themselves to be the most proficient offensive players. Ben Simmons, as we know, doesn't really need to shoot the rock. He's a really good passer, really good defender. So you could probably say that he'd be an ideal fit next to Damian Lillard and cure some of the struggles and some of the holes on that roster. And the more I think about this, the more I come up with this conclusion. Would CJ McCollum going back to Philadelphia in a trade for Ben Simmons be better and a better asset than Damian Lillard? Hear me out here. CJ McCollum, he is younger. You wouldn't have to include Tyrese Maxey in a deal. Maxey could continue to play point guard. McCollum could play the two. Maybe even you decide to include Tobias Harris in that deal as well, which gives CJ McCollum more opportunities to put the biscuit in the basket. And what is the big cure? What is the big hole on this Sixers roster that dates back multiple years since Jimmy Butler left? There isn't a reliable go-to guy who you have confidence in who is going to be able to create their shot off the dribble, show a little bit of wiggle, and score baskets late in games at the end of shot clocks, because I'm not sure you can rely on a center in today's NBA and Joel Embiid to be that guy, even though he did that in a really big win against the Atlanta Hawks on Friday. So McCollum, in short, is younger. You wouldn't have to include Maxey, and he could be your go-to scorer down the stretch. So Sixers fans, it's your time and your opportunity to sound off and voice who you want between those two players. If you were to send Ben Simmons away, type CJ for CJ McCollum, type DL for Damian Lillard. Don't be on the down low with your responses, and get them in right now in the comment section down below. Christmas is right around the corner. Hanukkah just wrapped up, but it's not too late and it's never too early to get yourself or somebody who you care about an awesome Sixers hoodie, thanks to our friends at Fanatics. This hoodie was $75. It's now on sale, 50% off for only about $30. So go to chatsports.com/76ers hoodie, 50% off this fresh Sixers swag, only if you use that link down below. I actually think it was $70, now on sale for $35. I've never been good at math. I went to Temple University, failed elementary algebra. Yeah, all I know is that this deal is killer, but you have to use that link down below so that Fanatics knows that Chat Sports sent you and so that you get 50% off. Let's continue to move forward with these Damian Lillard rumors. Stephen A. Smith, a couple days ago on ESPN, said that if Dame were to get traded somewhere, it might be the New York Knicks. But some people in his circle would like him, Damian Lillard, to more consider the Philadelphia 76ers as a trade destination. Here's a direct quote from Stephen A. Smith. If Damian Lillard doesn't want to stay, and he does want to stay in Portland, if you talk to him, his whole thing is, I want to be there. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to retire. And we folks know that Dame is very loyal to Portland. Stephen A. continued on by saying this: the only thing that would really, really tickle him and make him entertain wanting to leave Portland, believe it or not, is going to the New York Knicks, the mecca of Madison Square Garden. But there are people in his camp that would like to convince him to give Philadelphia stronger consideration. But when he thinks about the New York Knicks, he thinks about going to the top market in the country. Think about, obviously, marketability. But Damian Lillard, this is Chase Sr. speaking to you. I grew up in the Philly area. I'm from Westchester, went to Temple. I have rooted on this organization my entire life. If you're worried about fan passion, if you're worried about marketability, if you're worried about a big market, yeah, New York might be number one in the mecca. Philadelphia is the fourth largest market in the country, and I'd make the argument that the Sixers have a better chance of winning a championship than the New York Knicks. If you want to sell some kicks, you want to sell some merchandise, you want to sell some rap albums, you can do it just as well in Philadelphia as you would in New York. As for Damian Lillard's numbers, we talked about him a little bit earlier. I think he has been bothered by that abdominal injury. A lot of shooters have talked about the changing of the basketball going from Spalding to Wilson as for a reason why their shooting numbers have gone down. But another reason why I think McCollum might be the better trade asset. Damian Lillard is 31 years old right now, and I do have some concerns about a smaller guard, how he ages, and even if you lose a half step, that offensive game can certainly dip. Dame's numbers this year, 21.5 points per game, little less than 8 assists. That's been higher than years past. He's only shooting less than 40% from the floor and 30% from distance. As for CJ McCollum, the numbers really on par with Damian Lillard, but even better from a shooting efficiency standpoint. 20.5 points per game, 4.5 assists, so you lose something there, but Tyrese Maxey isn't turning the ball over. He can still be your primary passing point guard and get to the cup and shoot from all three levels. Field goal percentage for CJ at 42%. Three-point percentage at 39. So those numbers better. He's around the same price as Ben Simmons, but he's younger than Damian Lillard. That's why I'd almost rather have CJ McCollum, because I don't have to trade away Tyrese Maxey. So Sixers fans, one more question before we dip on out of here. Do you think, as currently constructed, the Sixers need to make a move to improve this roster right now? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know down below, and thanks for watching today's show.